This week on ICN, the stories you should have heard but didn't. How safe is your retirement? An update on big companies' underfunded pensions. You thought foreclosures in 2008 were bad. 2009 looks to be worse. Not confident in the economy and US dollar? One community may create their own money to address the crisis. Free speech, apparently not tolerated at the University of Toledo. Those stories and more next on ICN. Hello, and welcome to ICN, Informed Citizen News, December 7th, 2008, where we bring you the stories the mainstream media missed. The top story continues to be the economy, and we start with the damage to America's pensions. America's largest corporate pensions for companies like Sears, Pfizer, Exxon, and Ford will be in the red for 2008. The shortfall is mainly due to market declines we've seen this year. Typically, 65% of pension assets are invested in stocks. Reuters reports that 348 companies in the S&P 500 have pension plans and will likely have a shortfall of $220 billion in 2008. Each company will have to make up those funds from earnings. City and state governments are seeing red as well. The city of San Diego is considering bankruptcy due to their shortfall of funding for their workers' pension plan. 2009 doesn't look to be much better, as earnings for companies and tax revenues for cities and states will be in decline due to the weakening economy. Believe it or not, mortgage defaults are set to soar in 2009. Credit reporting agency TransUnion reported this week that there are a lot more home loans resetting throughout 2009, all the way through 2011. Many now have become familiar with subprime. 1 year from now, everyone will learn the term option arm. Option arm loans allow the borrower to pick a payment plan. Most of these types of loans have seen the borrower pick a minimum payment that does not even pay the interest amount, let alone the principal. These loans are taking time bombs, as automatic triggers can increase the initial monthly payment by more than 50% within the first 5 years of the mortgage. The destruction to the economy over the last 18 months due to subprime loans will be repeated again over the next 3 years due to option arm loan resets. The national press missed forecasting the first round. Are they going to miss the second round too? Two Milwaukee neighborhoods have found a creative way to deal with the decline of the economy and US dollar. They may print their own money. An article in the Chicago Tribune states, "The idea is that the local currency could be used at neighborhood stores and businesses, thus encouraging local spending. The result, supporters hope, would be a bustling economy, even as the rest of the nation deals with a recession and possibly a depression. Incentives would be given on an exchange rate. For 100 US dollars, you might get 110 neighborhood dollars. These neighborhood dollars could only be used in locally owned businesses. People would not be able to spend them at Walmart or Home Depot. They could spend those neighborhood dollars at their local hardware store or their local grocery store." An excellent example of creative thinking. Ever heard of posse comitatus? If not, you're not alone. The Posse Comitatus Act is a federal law specifically designed to restrict the role of the federal military in domestic law enforcement. This week, the Washington Post reported that the U.S. military expects to have 20,000 troops deployed within the United States by 2011. The purpose, according to the Pentagon, is to help state and local officials respond to a nuclear terrorist attack or any other type of catastrophe. Secondarily, the Iraq and Afghanistan wars have stripped states of their National Guard units, as they have been brought under federal control. National Guard units are supposed to be under state governor control, where they've been used for domestic emergencies and disasters like hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes. So the question is, why is the federal government moving some military in and the National Guard out? What is happening to free speech at American universities? Crystal Dixon wrote a response to a column titled "Gay Rights and Wrongs" that appeared in the Toledo Free Press. The problem is, when she expressed her views, she was fired. The subject was very controversial and related to medical benefits for domestic partners at the University of Toledo. Ms. Dixon started her letter to the editor with, "As a black woman who happens to be an alumnus of University of Toledo's graduate school, an employee and business owner, I take great umbrage at the notion that those choosing the homosexual lifestyle are civil rights victims. Here's why. I cannot wake up tomorrow and not be a black woman." Many have heard that position before, but the critical point is, should she be fired for her beliefs? Or fired just for expressing them in public? The University of Toledo admits no specific policy was violated by Ms. Dixon. During the hiring process, the university does not ask about any beliefs or biases that a prospective employee may hold. Ms. Dixon, who has recently received high evaluations, is suing the University of Toledo for wrongful termination and violating her constitutional rights. For the first time, the Food and Drug Administration has issued a warning that the mercury contained in silver dental fillings may pose neurological risks to children and pregnant women. The dental fillings, made with a mix of mercury and other metals, have been used since the 1800s. The FDA has always insisted that fillings containing mercury are safe. Last week, ICN reported that FDA management corrupted lower-level scientists' findings, and in another instance failed to act on knowledge that the harmful chemical melamine was found in baby formula in the U.S. Another bad week for the FDA. In a related story, French authorities discovered that soy meal fed to organic chickens in western France contained an astonishing 50 times the maximum limit of melamine. This cheap Chinese chicken feed was delivered to 127 organic chicken farms in France. Nobody yet knows how many organic chicken farms in the US, Canada, UK, or Australia might also be feeding their chickens toxic levels of melamine. The truth is, nobody knows if meats sold in the US are free of melamine because nobody has tested the meat. This can be a large concern as chicken parts are used for cattle and pork feed. The Informed Citizen should write your congressman to investigate the testing and regulation of melamine in our food products. To close on a good note, 40 Harvard medical students protested this week on campus to demand that the medical faculty disclose their financial ties to pharmaceutical companies. Good for them for holding those in power accountable. Thank you for joining ICN this week. Americans need to be informed, so please send our link to your friends and family. From all of us at Informed Citizen News, have a great week.